Welcome to FYI. FYI family. Good to have all of you on the live this morning. Good to see so many of you already in the comments. Y'all not wasting time at all. Y'all not holding for me. Good morning to you, Sandra Hanover. Good morning to you, Marcia Agard, Isabella Butters, Rihanna Mingo. Good morning to you, Tommy Gibbs and Evelina Whitaker. Good morning to you, Dolly Anderson, for that matter. Folks, how are you doing this morning? Yep, for your information, it's Tuesday, April 9th. Whose birthday is it today? Whose birthday is it today, folks? We're happy to have all of you on the live this morning. Myrna Stobie is here. Pamela Sanchari. Pamela, I haven't forgotten you. Hope that you're well. Pamela from the East Bank. When she's here. Good to have you, Pamela. Let we go. Joanna Green, Dolly, Dexter, Tommy, Joanna. Good to have all of you. Shelly Durrell is on the live this morning. Great to have Shelly as well. And all the other folks joining us this morning. Do let us know how you guys are doing. Please and thanks. Do let us know how you folks are doing. We just want to make sure that we are shared to all of the valid and credible places. There's a lot to deal with this morning, folks. But together, we can do it. Together, we're going to get through it. Good to have each and every one of you here. It's another day, folks. Boots on the ground. We out front. Do what we got to do, Barbara Ralph. Kiki Carroll. Good to have you. Kiki Carroll. You on it? Good to have also Claire Alexis Charmley Richmond. Folks, hold on. Hold on just a cotton picking minute. Claudette Bobby Lewis. Good to have you on the live as well, Claudette. Great to have you on the live as well. But I wanna just pause a little bit at Claire Alexis Charmley. Folks, did you know Claire? I mean, it's about a week or two ago or three, celebrated a birthday. Claire, remind us. I saw the thing and completely forgot. You know, it's a new Vaseline I use in the new grease. My thoughts keep slipping. How you folks are doing? So happy belated birthday, Claire Alexis Charmley Richmond. Hope I've got it belated right. Claire Alexis Charmley. Claire, I saw it late. I said, oh God. Claire must be cussing me in every language you got. But good to have Claire with us this morning. Claire's a fantastic person. If you ever get to meet her. Fantastic young woman. Right? Claudette Bobby Lewis says she had a birthday yesterday. Well, happy belated Claudette. She had a birthday yesterday. Happy belated birthday. I don't know, folks. It's y'all or it's me. Or it's we or it's them. But I find as you get older, the birthdays fling around so fast. You see? When I turned 35, I stopped counting it. Flap the rest of it. I stopped counting. When I turned 25, I mean, sorry, now in my 30s, folks, so happy belated birthday, Claudette, and anyone else from the family who might be celebrating a birthday. Happy, I see Bantu King's daughter celebrate a birthday too. Bantu, you don't tell me nothing. Right? And as Chami says, happy birthday to your young queen. Yeah, so it's Bantu's daughter, Claudette, Claire, it's all the C's. Right? Galloway, Aletha Galloway. Hope I get it right that time. Folks, happy to have all of you on the live this morning. Happy to have each and every one of you here with us, folks. We got a couple of things to get through. We can show all this, but a couple of things to get through at our end. Our colors are tied up this morning, but bear with us. You can see us fairly well. You can hear us. All you're hearing. You're hearing us closely, folks. Folks, if you don't make yourself happy, nobody will. Especially now as you get old in the body, just keep zoom. Who's doing that? Out in nowhere, these birdies lashing you down. And don't you feel it in your bones? More than you used to? I try to do some things I did a year ago, 2 years ago. Oh, my knees shaking, sir. What up? Folks, good morning. All the folks celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy belated. Ras Ricardo's here. Thanks for the things, Ras. Vashti Magnot. I knew it was somebody's birthday. Urban Don Cook is here. Guys, we're just happy to have each and every one of you on the live. I don't know if you've been following our broadcast. We've been talking about what's happening in our indigenous communities. Luan Hall, Ethelene Peters, if you've been following, you don't have to follow. But if you've been following, we've been following what's been happening in indigenous communities. Kyle and Edward, Irwin, Yvonne, Ras Ricardo, Debbie Collins. Thank you so much. Big Auntie, thanks for the things. All the way up in Atlanta. I may or may not be in Atlanta during May. I don't know. Where I'll wake up tomorrow. If you're above ground, praise God. I might be in Atlanta. There's a big celebration happening in Atlanta. At the end of May. I just might. You know, but Big Auntie calling me. You know? Big Auntie calling me. But thanks for the thing. Big Auntie. It's two of them. One in Atlanta, one right now in Providence. In Providence. But folks, we're working on that meetup. I wish we never had to do this virtually. I wish I went in a room with you all, just talking the things. But if you've been following our broadcasts, you've been following these programs, we have been talking about what's happening in some of our indigenous villages. And now, and this graphic might be familiar to you folks. This graphic might be familiar to you folks. Because in indigenous community, after indigenous community, people feel as though their voices not being heard. We've spoken to folks at Santa Cruz in Moruca, a place called Little Canubali. We had a representative right in our program. Last 2 weeks, we had a representative right here. Marcia Gart, Lester. Michaela Andrews, Ethelene Peters, Beryl Crawford, Yolanda. Right here. And it's always that the government is not listening. It's always governance issues, corruption. And we've told you about issues at places like Chinese Landing. There's a beautiful Carib community there. You know, places like Tassawini in the Barima Waini region. This region 1 we're talking about. Isenaru, beautiful Akawayo community here. This region 7, Middle Mazaruni, Middle Mass as they say, from those parts. Murudi, this is deep south now, region 9. Chinese Landing is Senaru Murudi, mining issues. These people got big monies beneath their feet in gold. But the government sends in outsiders who wants to bully them. There's no prior informed consent or anything like that. They just gone in there and digging out. Digging in and digging out. The people have little or no say. From the resources that has come from these indigenous communities, if 10% went back, they'd be better off. But that's not happening, folks. That's not happening at all. So we went into places. For instance, like Wiki Kalkuni. I was here myself. Wiki Kalkuni, listening to some of the issues of the residents there. These are indigenous communities. Hururu, Region 10. Chinese landing, Isenru, for instance. You had decisions that were handed down from international bodies. Human Rights Committee on the elimination of racial discrimination, rather, and the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights handed down decisions favoring our indigenous brothers and sisters. Just like how yesterday that decision handed down from the High Court favored Trevor Bennett and his team. Sabuk News has a beautiful write-up on that issue, by the way. Beautiful write-up. But our indigenous brothers and sisters, at the hands of the current regime, suffer terribly. Terribly. And this is things they don't want to go to the Public Accounts Committee to talk about. The corruption in these villages. No, she want to talk about what Dennis Jaikaran Pin says, what book he's reading in his library at home, whose picture of which president he has up. That's what she wants to talk about. But recently, we were in the indigenous community of Kapui. Folks, y'all got to see all your country. We got a beautiful country. To God be the glory. And we shall not become tenants in our own country. We have a beautiful, picturesque. You see, when you come away from the hub and throb, the cut and throw of the everyday politics, oh, this country is so beautiful, so serene. I even took a point, I want to come away. I want to move. And listen to some of what the folks there tell us about their concern in their indigenous community. Mind you, when we go to these communities to get the valid, credible information, we're only talking to people that believe what we believe. We got a mic, we stick it out, we say, what are your thoughts? We're hearing X, Y, Z. What do you think? We ain't going looking for coalition people or PP people or no party people. A community invites us and say, we got some concerns. Could you come and listen to us? I'd say, sure, sign me up. Which boat I can jump on? That's another story by itself. Got on the boat heading to Kapui. 3 times the boat break down in the Essequibo River. 3 times. Had to turn back. Head to Purica. These are some of the vicissitudes of bringing you valid, credible information. Yeah, it is what it is, folks. But take a listen to some of what one resident in Kapui told us about what's happening on the ground in Kapui. Take a look, good folks, and take a listen.
What happened in our community in Kapui, right? We's a band resident. I'm in fact 4 years old, right? And you know what we see happening in our community there is bad management. Watch our resources, right? The sandpit. We coming out this morning here for black the truck them from drug and sand because you know what's going on in our community. Our community, the leader, you know, they got we like, you know, like we're begging, you know, and everything you see built like on the mission, all-purpose hall, bakery, pavilion, library. The building our build is grant, kitchen, grant. Now we we ask them, wow, really they're building with our resources money, what them doing it, they nothing, you know. If them get like $2 million for the month expense, 2 million traveling, no, you're not gonna receipt to say you buy one bearings or you buy one tire or you buy one, you know, you buy one bottle gas or whatever. No, nothing. But and now when you ask them, quick time you turn away, you turn away from the PPP and use the opposition. But you know, I'm for 4 years. I always support PPP, right? And this is not all about politics. I'm standing here for my right. and I'm speaking for my right. But yesterday afternoon, my mother and my daddy, they got a little land problem with the council body. You know, the it's couple months, must about 2 or 3 months back, or a month ago. Can't really remember. Them pull me up and say because I pull out them posts or them planting in our land. I pull it out, them carry me up by the station. Now, just yesterday afternoon, for see that, then take the community tractor to go and haul out this fencing what my daddy put up. They haul it out, and there's nothing. But if me been doing that, right away, maybe sometimes this morning I'm going to inside jail, lock
You
up.
think they're trying to victimize you?
It's looking so. And the men just stand up for talking, you're right. You're bad. You're this. You're that. Now we got a leader in our group, right? Then if you can't share, the bad wolf. It is right. No, you don't do people them thing. We stand up for it. What you can't say them buying gas every month, so much of gas for the bus or for the boat and getting like 80 gallon of gas. Because the last you been tell me going out for 90 gallon of gas and 10 for the enhancement them and the rest for the bus and the boat. Is one time we received 6 gallon. So we don't know. And the 6 gallon gas or the regions or the setting right that we don't really know. But what we know, what I'm doing, if you go at the back and see the sandpit and see the loom pit, it's in a mess. And that casting this. Now, if them in doing this thing right, or in a right way, we don't call it out here a day like today. We could have stand up with them because we see that them living this community, them building this community. But you know what? As we could see, it's the government building our community. It's the government building our community. It's not the show. It's the government building the community. This community should have building up half its own with the resources where you got. You got a sand pit, you got loom pit. If you got it back, it's that and a mess and nothing inside the cash book. And it's going over a year now that they promise about the cash book. Up to now, you know.
So you're concerned about transparency and you're concerned about if the council is accountable.
Well, it's like we're looking for good report. We're looking for good leadership. We're looking for building up the youths. How much youths them a day like today? You could see the youths them drinking, drunken, teenagers them, underage. The other day I see some young girl them like about 14, 13 years drunk. And to show them the council body with them, you see them thing and pull them up. They have a right to do that. Right? They have a right to pull them up and say this is wrong. Pull them up. You warn them. As the Bible says, there is a warning before destruction. Right?
Correct.
There's always be a warning before destruction. Right? And you get the warning now. Take the good advice, not the bad one. You know what? Sometimes, but for me, it's the enhancement worker, right? And then got we know the council body to show got we know dumping garbage inside a dump trailer with one side wheel now, one good. And now then got we know they want we who speed it out inside the one where walk. It is right. I care about me health.
Yeah.
Right? I talk to them. It's over. Yeah. It's months now. They got this thing. So months. And this is you guys say this the government thing them, mushing them, right? If me them and talk a couple days back.
Yep. Welcome back, folks. That's some of what he said. Apologies for the abrupt finish there, but that's some of what our brother said. And as we got to Kapui last Friday, when we went missing for a couple hours from the morning show, as we got there was a protest that was happening. And in case you missed it last evening, or even though you might have seen it, I want to show you what another resident said who we caught up with. They were having a protest. A number of of the villagers turned out in Kapui and were voicing their concerns. Could you imagine? You have a sand pit in Kapui. That money should be paid to the village council, and for all intents and purposes, it's being paid to the village council. But the villagers don't know where the money going. Millions and millions of dollars. And that's not the only income generator they got. They got fish pond, they got this, they got that, they got the next. But they're not seeing where the money going. Paulette Greaves, Debbie Collins, Tommy Gibbs, Dan Abrams, Rena. They're not seeing. And on the other side of this, we talk to the treasurer. I was doing the talking. And then her husband, he was doing some talking too. On the other side of this. But before we get there, listen to what another villager told us. Kapui on the Essequibo.
This morning, I'm very happy to be out here. I'm proud to be out here as a resident of Kapui. I born here, I grow here, I live here all my life. So we have problems in our community. Now there is a problem with governance. There is a problem with accountability and transparency by the Kapui Village Council. Right? Now, let me give you a little timeline. Now, since January 2023, we have been fighting this issue. We had to write a letter to the council just for them to hold a meeting. Imagine that, a statutory meeting that was supposed to be held was not being held. So we, the residents, got together and wrote a letter. I have copies of it. We wrote a letter to the council requiring a meeting. Okay, that's in January. In that meeting now, we discover that the record book for 2023 was not completed. It was not completed like as how it should be, right? It was not completed. Then that's in January. Now the region went in because we wrote a letter also to the region, and the region came in, held a meeting with the council, the village council, and they give them a time up to February. That's February 2023 for them to complete the village cash book, right? That's 2 months. Imagine January, February, month end. They give them that, to finish the village cash book. Okay, we waited until February. Eventually, the book was submitted to the office, and February, March, April, 2 months passed before that book was finished checking at the Hinterland office in Anne Regina. Good? That's in March. Good. After that, now we March, April, May, we had a general community meeting. In that meeting, we discovered that $3.7 million could not be accounted for in the village cash book, right? So what we did, we wrote a petition, a letter of petition, and we forwarded to the Ministry of Amrine Affairs. In May, later that May, the auditor came, Mr. Collymore came to do a little audit, right? I was not there, so I don't know what exactly went on, but he went. Then they came back. I can't remember exactly what time they came back, but they came back now, which is a team from the Ministry of Amrine and Affairs. Anybody can help me there, Lydia? Like when they came back? When they came back with the team from the Ministry of Amrine and Affairs? October?
Did you guys get any feedback? What was the result of the audit?
No, Mr. Duncan. We they took the report to Georgetown. No, the ministry came down, and the team, Miss Ming, Mr. Collymore, the auditor, they came down and they discussed the petition, right, with us, right? So they say, oh, it's a problem of what? I can't remember the word, but they try to polish it off to say it's not a very big problem, and they're going to try to see how they can pacify this book or pacify the mistakes or whatever is inside the book. They went back to Georgetown, Mr. Duncan, and they promised us to come back here on the 15th of November. And to date, as I speak, this moment, nobody came back to tell us anything. Like, What's the result? They said they would have come back to give us a report on the book, right? Good. So that happened. We waited. We called the PS. We even went up to visit the PS and all of that. All of that we did. We went to Georgetown and they promised to come. Nobody ever came, right? Nobody ever came to tell us anything about our village cash book, about the monies that was short. Nobody came to tell us anything. And we keep waiting and we keep waiting. Nothing is being done. Now, concerning the monies and the cash and in our village council, Mr. Duncan, just like how the money come, just say it's spent out. In 2022, they made like $20 million, all gone. No project, nothing was done in the community. All the monies, how it come, just say it gone. It gone on this, on traveling, on some whatever, fuel, whatever it gone on. They make up their own report, Right. So that's in 2022. 2023, a new treasurer took over. And when we thought we would get a better work from that new treasurer, it's like even worse, Mr. Duncan. It's like even worse. Good. So I don't know, but right now we are suffering. No report is being told to us. They don't even want to show us the sandbook, the treasure book. They don't want to show us what we want to see. What really y'all want to see? We said we want to see our book. We want to see how our monies were being spent. Mr. Duncan.
Have you seen the book?
No, Mr. Duncan. The last we went to see the book, here the lady, oh, I won't allow you to see the book unless you call it to show. I said, all right. I said, give me a piece of paper and a pencil. And you know what I did? I wrote the summary and expenditure for December. And that was what I wanted, basically. And I have it. And when you see at the end of December, they made like $2 million and something dollars, and their expenditure was $2 million and something dollars. So they never have no monies in the bank. December closed off with $56,000 in the bank, right? No monies in the bank, no monies, very little cash on hand, and we know what they're doing with the monies, right? And they're telling us nothing is being done. Whatever is being done, look at that cream building over there. That is LCDS monies built at.
So you all have been getting monies from the LCDS fund?
Yes, we did get.
And you're saying part of what that's done is build one of the buildings here?
Yes, a health center. Not a health center, community center. Right, a community center.
And how much did that cost? You guys, yeah.
I think about $8 million. Lydia, you could help me there? I
Something
think
like that.
around there.
And
right.
how much money overall y'all have gotten so much from the LCDS?
$24 million. $24 million in all. But how much?
24 for the first afternoon they collect the balance.
Okay. So they're saying 34 million in all. First we collect 24, then another they collect the balance of monies.
And you all know what has been done with that money? They've been telling you that, the Tushao and the other members of the council?
No, well, basically they have a little plan, but when the plan go out, it's just the councillors billing the thing. They involving other members of the community very rarely, and whoever they involve is their relative, and they involve just a few set of people inside the community. So we are very disgruntled, Mr. Duncan, very disgruntled, and as our banner says, enough is enough, and like we don't want more of this, and we know election is near. And we just want this thing to go viral. And everybody must see what we, the people of Kapui, are going through. Right? We want it to go viral. We want everybody to see what we are going. And I'm not afraid to speak, Mr. Duncan. I am not afraid to speak out. Because for me, they call me the big bad wolf. Recently, a councillor cursed me up and insulted me and tell me a whole heap of things, Mr. Duncan. And the Tushao is powerless to even shy that person to say, hey, okay, don't say that, don't do a resident like that. So for me, I know they don't like me. Right, the village tractor and everything is like their own. They ain't got no rules to guide it. Everybody just driving up and down.
So you're saying people are using the assets of the village for their personal use?
Personal use, right? Personal use. We have boat, tractor. We have a bakery. We are not getting any bakery report. We are not getting any fish report. We are not getting any chicken report.
So none of that is being discussed at the council meetings?
We are not seeing anything coming out of it because they're getting free chicken, free feed. Free fish.
Oh, we have a fish cage over there, Mr. Duncan. We don't even know what is going on with the fish. People selling the fish, we don't know where the money is going to. All of those resources we have in the community.
So these are allegations of corruption, basically.
Yes, these are allegations of corruption, Mr. Duncan. Yes.
Yeah. And as you heard there, for a lot of corruption. A lot of corruption in that community there of Kapui at the village council level. And it's not only there, as we've said, folks. It's not only in Kapui. Lots of other indigenous communities, indigenous villages. We're seeing Little Canobali, Wiki Kalkoni, Horuru, Eseneru, Chinese Landing, Tatooine Chinese Landing. You name it. Lots of these PPP two shows are involved in corruption. Corruption. Involved in corruption. In lots of these places. Corrupt. The treasurer showed up as we were there, wanting to know who we were, who gave us the authorification, to quote either Margaret Lawrence or Andres O'Brien, who gave us the authorification to be there. And we answered her politely. And we started asking questions. She didn't like it. And then the treasurer's husband, now the treasurer is an elected member of the village council. Her husband is not. But he wanted to do the talking on her behalf, on the council's behalf, and on the community's behalf. And what is to boot? He's a foreigner too. Not only of the community, but of the country. But you see, he finds a soft target. And the people there at Kapui said he got a lot of deals, quote unquote, that he's been making. He had quite a few things to say. As I said, when the treasurer asked us some questions, I was privileged to be in that area by the one and only Sherwin Holder, MP, Sherwin Holder, and Shadow Minister for Natural Resources. He accompanied me into Kapui among some other folks. And she asked this question and we answered. And when we started asking questions, she didn't want to answer. She started getting very defensive. And then her husband took over. Mind you, he's not elected to the council. He's not a member, bona fide member of the community. He's not even Guyanese. And he come here for run we show. Take a look. Take a listen. Ma'am, questions have been put.
I will not be giving any comment.
You're not giving any comment. So you're not going to respond to these allegations that hundreds of millions of dollars missing from the community, LCDS monies can be accounted for anywhere.
I said I'm not giving no comment.
You're not giving any comment. You're a councillor in the community here?
Can you turn off the camera?
Ma'am, I represented myself. I give you my card, who I'm representing. Ma'am, you asked me questions and I answered to you.
Here.
Right?
You have no permission to do that.
To do what? I'm coming here on behalf of the residents here. I have their
Don't
permission.
speak to them. Don't speak
Right?
to me.
You are a councillor. You were elected to
I
represent
said
them.
no, I'm not giving any comment.
All right. Thank you for that. So you heard it there, folks. The councillor, duly elected, so she's not giving any comments.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, then you deal with it in a different way. In terms of proper legality, you don't obstruct the livelihood of truckmen for that. You're wasting these people time. Right? It doesn't make sense. So you say the livelihood of the truck drivers take precedence over the management and the community and the management of the resources.
What you're doing there is debase
and despicable because what you're doing is twisting my words. I'm not
asking
saying
you. I'm not twisting
no.
your
Well,
words.
don't
I'm
say
asking.
ask me. Don't say you're saying.
Uh-huh.
Right? I'm very good at
I'm saying
debating.
what you're saying.
No,
Right now you're losing the debate, my friend.
You said you're saying.
All right.
Right?
All right.
I'm not saying
Uh-huh.
that it takes precedence over the livelihoods of people in this community.
So what
the
are you
livelihoods of people in this community is of utmost importance, right? Now, whether the council does a good job or not, that rests within the community, the structure of the community, and the politics of the community, right? And that needs to be handled at the community level, right? At the community level, in community meetings, and through diplomatic relations with the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs. Right?
Let me tell you something, my brother.
Let me tell you something.
All right, continue. I thought you finished.
When APNU AFC was in,
don't let me go there. Don't let me go there.
Because
you see,
you know
that's the
where I'm
problem
going.
that we're getting.
Because you know where
That's
I'm going.
where we're getting the problem. Now, this gentleman here has just testified that he was a polling agent for the PPP, and now he's being dubbed. Once he stands up for the community, he's dubbed an appointee. We don't want to go there, my brother. Respectfully,
Every single person here,
my brother,
every single person
I've
here,
listened to you.
are PPPC supporters.
I've listened to you.
But I'm speaking about you because basically
so the
you're
member of parliament being here becomes the problem, and a new member of parliament
You're
becomes
here
the problem.
looking for political clout.
Oh my goodness!
Right?
How is it to come to that conclusion? How is it?
It's
Give me one point that how have you come to that conclusion?
It's politics 101 because you didn't do your due diligence to find out the facts before coming.
How would you here? My friend. Don't embarrass yourself on national television. Don't embarrass yourself. The people are already sent you due to the community. You know what's going on. You know what's going on. Let's stand back.
That is one side of
the
it.
treasurer. Who doesn't want to come?
That is your thing.
She was asked to come in. She was asked to come in, my friend. I don't think she did. Who? She refused to come in.
Who?
The treasurer.
At the back here?
Yeah. She didn't want to. So, my brother, this is not what I'm speaking. There's a councillor and the treasurer. No, here, this is not the issue. My friend, this is not the issue here. The issue is transparency and accountability according to these people. And that is what they're out here. They're saying to you, the councillor, your wife, the government, that there is no transparency. People allow me, my friend. That's what an allegation. This is an allegation. Oh my goodness. Allow me, my friend. Listen to me. Listen to me.
Without verifying it.
Well, you make another allegation and allow me to
get the verification.
So we can chase that too.
She doesn't know the media in public verification.
My goodness.
If you want verification,
my friend,
go to the office of verification.
But
in private, it's simple logic.
They didn't get the truth. All of them are saying they're not listening. They went to the minister, they went to the office, they went to the council meeting, they're not getting anything.
I'm quite certain your viewers understand what I'm saying. Is that these people went for verification time and time again, and they got it. They got the opportunity.
Of course. Of course.
To get the books in order.
How are you talking about? Of course. The husband of the treasurer
again,
speaking, but the treasurer said the elected treasurer said no comment, but her husband is speaking.
This man, you are using the verification like 100% of the time.
Time again, you've had the book in your hands, Maggie.
Oh my
right?
Not the matter.
Debate. Turn your camera. Turn the camera.
Something
through the book hardly.
Holding a book is verification. If you and me have a right, and I come to verify something,
when I get it, you
just give me something and you collect it back. Is that giving me the platform?
She had the book on two occasions to go through it.
She said, she can't show me the book. Miss Maggie, what do you really want to see? What do you really want to see?
That's
I
a
said,
lie. It's a debate lie.
Yeah, that's some of what we heard and saw as we were in Kapui last Friday. Folks, you get into these communities, there's all kinds of people you meet when you put boots on the ground. It's all manner of character. And in a democratic country, as we hope ours could be, I know we got to make real the promises of our democracy. We got to make them real. You know, you got to entertain all manner of divergent views. Not even a Guyanese. And he talking more than the treasurer, who's his wife. The treasurer who said no comments to the allegations of massive corruption with the finances at Kupui village on the Essequibo coast. Yeah, valid, valid, credible information. Folks, and we're going to stay on that. You know, they got elections coming up for 2 showers and village councils across the country. And I hope folks make the right decision. Put in the right people who got your real interest at heart. Not these charlatans. Not them. Folks, let's touch on a couple of things coming across our desk this morning. That was one of the 50. I was about 3 or 4. There was a number of things. Naomi Drucker, I don't know where the man from. He turned up. But it said he got more interest than just the treasurer in Kupui. Money got to make people. Money got to make. How could a community be making $24, $30 million a year? Nobody can see where this money is going. The folks said if $2,503 making any money, it is to the precise amount they got expenditure. It is to the precise amount. 2,503,000 will be the expenditure for the month. Yeah, they're not getting the information. Sheila Boy Child said it again. Money have to be met. That's how it, that's about 2 or 3 of the things we need to follow this morning, folks. They're telling us that the UN Security Council is going to be revisiting this matter of Venezuela approval of this Essequibo state creation. The UN Security Council, the United Nations, that high body. But I'm not too sure how this is going to go, because if I remember correctly, China is part of the UN Security Council. They seem to favor our neighbors, westerly neighbors. Russia's part of the Security Council. We're now cutting our teeth there. And I've seen the Security Council pronounce or fail to pronounce on issues like what we see happening on the Gaza, what's happening in the Ukraine. So I'm not excited by the fact somebody says the Security Council is going to be discussing. I'm happy it's being discussed there. But is there going to be a resolution? If Venezuela is flying in the face of the International Court of Justice, a creature of the United Nations, I don't know how the Security Council is going to fare. Because some international partner of theirs seems to be giving them spunks. A lot of spunks. So they're going to be discussing this violation of international law that requires states to respect each other's sovereignty, territorial integrity, and political independence. So how could Venezuela be rushing up to us like this, claiming all of the Essequibo? And the Essequibo starts in Region 3. And once they take that, we're going to stop them from marching and coming across the harbor bridge, old or new. So we're watching this to see what pronouncements come out of the United Nations. This is, again, this high-level committee. High-level committee. Let's see what happens here, folks. The Security Council. Let's see what happens here. That's one of the things we're following this morning. And again, on this very note, we see the OAS condemning Venezuela's regime's threatening objectives. That's what the OAS says. Threatening objectives. You know, remember reading many years ago how men use words of action to cloak inaction. Threatening objectives. That's what they call it. For passing this law for the defense of Essequibo. Mr. Jagger himself says it has the, at least on paper, the aim of annexing, the annexation of Essequibo. And we heard in this OAS release on what's happening there, the Secretary General says that it contradicts international law. The Secretary General of the OAS, that is, the Organization of American States, says it contradicts international law and highlights the dictatorial tendencies of the Venezuelan regime. The OAS went on to describe the law as reminiscent of historical episodes leading to annexation, military aggression, and destruction. These are some of the things we're watching, folks. We're watching it. So the OAS speaking up to thank you. Thank you, of course. Every voice that is raised against what Venezuela is doing, we welcome them. We welcome them. But we got to go a little beyond that. We got to go a little beyond that. Yeah. The OAS also emphasized the need to halt the Venezuelan regime's progress, listen to this, towards threatening objectives and condemn the unilateral actions to resolve bilateral relations or bilateral issues. You can't just decide Venezuela's ours. You got to matter before the ICJ. You got no time with that. And you're going to pass organic law for the defense of Essequibo? It matter what. And thank you for the OAS again for expressing solidarity with Guyana and condemning the Venezuelan regime's attempt to intimidate, according to the release, other international actors. Thank you so much for that. OAS and all those other countries that have been raising their voice in our defense. Lyndon Reed, Child Jeffrey, we can take it wherever we can find it. Maria Vera, we can take the support wherever we can find it, folks. Wherever we can find it. And that's just another one of the things we're looking at this morning. Coming closer to home, remember that accident, the crash, the drift. It's all about the drift, the tug and the barge. Drifted into the Harbor Bridge recently. They're telling us that damage is to the toll of 10 million Guyana dollars. It was $1 billion the other day, 10 million. Oh, Jesus. By the time the new Harbor Bridge finished construction, you're going to build 10. I don't know. If something is just take hold of people when they close to this Harbor Bridge, like people don't see it, like it's come out of nowhere. And of course, this motor tug, they said, tug and barge collided with 4 buoys and 2 pontoons at the Harbor Bridge over the weekend. Thankfully, they tell us this has not hindered the operation of the bridge by any means. It's currently operational. Yeah? And they tell us that the technical staff of the Harbor Bridge, they're working to realign the structure. You see, after the drift, they're going to realign the structure now and to assess the total estimated cost. Right now, they put it at 10 million Guyana dollars. So to touch the bridge, it's $1 million. We got to watch that. Right? We thank for all the folks who are working hard to ensure the folks on either sides of the Amara River, either side of the bank, don't experience any undue delays. So you're watching that, folks. Nandalal, it's a family affair with them. A stiff pain in my neck just out there. We beg. We beg. They've joined this case. They've taken it to the CCJ, fighting with ExxonMobil or Mobile or Mobile, fighting with Exxon against Guyanese. Folks, you wouldn't see this anyplace else. This is who we are. This is who he is, foreign-minded. They should be standing with Guyanese in defense of our territory. No, they're back in Exxon. To say that the courts cannot tell the government what kind of insurance to have, if any insurance at all, from the people who care. So they've joined the litigation with Exxon, with the Attorney General arguing that not making the state a party to a case dealing with a contract that the state is already a party to is a violation of natural justice. But let's see how the CCJ, the Caribbean Court of Justice, let's see how they interpret this line of reasoning that not allowing the state to join a case or join a case that is to deal with a contract that is already a party to is a violation of national justice. Let's see if the CCJ is so persuaded. The AG went on to cite that Guyana's legislation, which allows for citizens to challenge, as it were, proceedings or to be joined in them, and the Petroleum Activities Act, which mandates the state to be a party in any case, could put the petroleum industry at risk. That's what they're arguing here. It's some legal gymnastics, you know. It's some legal gymnastics. So they've joined this case. They've taken to the CCJ. Oh, they won't pay no money for insurance. And the money could go other places. Other places. Yes. $2 billion US. Sandal Kissoon, Justice of the High Court, ordered that the parent company sets aside, just in case what happened in Tobago happened here. God forbid. God forbid it should happen here. An oil spill, some tragedy out there related to the sector. That we, the country, is not at risk of untold liability. But Jagdeo, Nandalal, Irfan Ali, Ashley Singh fighting Guyanese to defend ExxonMobil. Right? Fighting Guyanese. And in this week's episode of Keeping Up with the Nandlals, we turn now to Kesh Nandlal, who heads up the GPL for all intents and purposes. Keeping Up with the Nandlals. So he's the Attorney General, his brother, that's the power company. Van Agel is the Minister of Public Works. His brother, that's the General Registrar's Office. Friend, family, and favorites. Should I tell you when the wife there, the sister, the cousin? Oh, the tentacles spread out. Spread out. Well, the Prime Minister says, the Prime Minister, Mr. Jagdeo, Mark Phillips, that the Executive Management Committee, headed by Kesh Nandlal, recently back from Canada, after living there for many years, he will handle queries related to GPL. So you all 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day blackout? Ask him his friends and family. Onet heads up tourism, her sister there by insert. I just picking a couple family members, friends, family, and favorites. Not forgetting flatterers. So, Prime Minister Jagdeo, Mark Phillips, says that Kesh Nandlal, he will handle all queries related to the power company. Nandlal has been appointed since last September, right? When substantive CEO Bardindial was relieved of duty due to personal health issues. And we hope that Mr. Dindial gets better, right? We hope he gets better. But he wasn't the man for the job there at GPL. Neither is Cash. Because we hear that Cash's experience is in accounting. He used to have a decent, what do you call it? CEO there. A decent CEO. But them boys didn't like that. You see? So they bring the accountant now. And if Ashley is anything to go by, performance of an accountant over an economy, and for CEO, well, folks, there's a lot to be desired. That is what we say. There's a lot to be desired. But that is all it has been at GPL, good folks. Friends, family, and favorites. That's what it's been. That Jamaican CEO knew the energy sector. And Mr. Albert Gordon, the Jamaican CEO, that was, what is the word I'm looking for? Selected. That's not the right word. Identified by an international hiring company. Nobody in the government again knew him for say, bring Albert and Ducky in there. He was hired by an international company. Right? Identified by an international company. Went through the paces of interviews, presented his credentials. And you all know under the coalition, power was going someplace in this country. It's not so now. It's not so now. And in area after area, department after department, qualified people, not placeholders, qualified people have been replaced by persons of Kesh Nandalal's ilk. Friends, family, favorites, and flatterers. These are people who like the cocktail circuits, not actually sell and do the work. They want to run around behind your fun, shadow him. Not to go to work at 6 in the morning and leave at 11 in the night and really work for your company. Instance after instance. The list is there. The list is there. Friends, family, and favorites. And flatterers. And you wonder why GPL is producing the way GPL is producing? You wonder why? We wonder why, folks? Do we wonder why? Only better share the life. Smash that emoji button for us. That's what's happening. And this is a tip of the iceberg. We know the whole thing. And we can bust the rest of the files on another broadcast. We can bust the rest of it on another broadcast. We've done our due diligence this morning. We did with time. We know the whole thing. Bust the rest later on. Rhonda Gordon, Edward Brooms, Tesselaine Eastman, Jennifer Crawford, Marcy, and all the other beautiful souls on with us this morning. Great to have each and every one of you on the live. It's Tuesday, folks, the 9th of April. That's going to do it for us at this end. Tesselaine, Jennifer, Rhonda, Yolanda, Sheila Boy Child, Granite Anderson, June Cameron. Just so they can talk him, but bring him back. What is the man from A Mile of Fall? You remember the fella? They bring him for something just. Watch and see. Bring him for something. Watch and see. Bellamona, Rastaman, Naomi, Lyndon, Marcy, Michelle, Urban Dawn, Debbie Collins. It's been great being here with you guys this morning, seeing you guys this morning, all fired up and ready to go. That's going to do it for us at this end. Take good care. We're going to see you guys on the next broadcast. Stay safe. I said stay safe.